Welcome to the Explainer. If you work with images, video, or audio, you probably think you've got metadata all figured out, right? Well, today, we're tearing down everything you thought you knew about the hidden layers of our digital files. Because honestly, there is a massive shift happening right now just beneath the surface of those pixels, and it's completely rewriting the rules of digital privacy and file management. We're entering a whole new era of file tracking that your standard tools just can't see.
So let me ask you a quick question. Think deleting your Exif data means your file is completely untraceable? You know the drill, right? You run your image through a standard metadata scrubber. You see that the GPS coordinates and camera model are gone, and you think, great, I'm anonymous. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but you might want to think again. In today's digital landscape, assuming a clean Exif panel equals a completely clean file is a dangerous, dangerous illusion.
All right, here is your reality check. There is a modern, totally hidden layer in our digital assets, known as C2PA content credentials, and these can easily survive standard metadata deletion. Your traditional EXIF removers, sure, they might wipe your location data, but they completely miss this new cryptographic layer. It's literally like wiping your fingerprints off the steering wheel of a getaway car, completely unaware that there is a GPS tracker bolted right to the chassis. So, here's our roadmap for this explainer today. We'll start with the metadata myth. Then unpack C2PA, do a quick showdown with traditional metadata, face the hard truth about deletion, check out the Exif injector solution, and finally lock down a safe metadata workflow. Okay, section 1, the metadata myth, and what you don't see. I really want you to think of a digital file like a multi-layered cake. The pixels, the actual image you're looking at on your screen, that's just the frosting on top. Beneath that surface, we have traditional Exif data holding your camera and GPS info. Then there's IPTC for editorial and copyright stuff, and XMP for workflow data. But if we look even deeper, now we have C2PA content credentials, which are signed provenance records. And beneath even that, we've got durable signals like invisible watermarks. The crazy part is traditional Exif cleaners are literally only slicing off one layer of this cake. Moving on to section 2, unpacking C2PA, the new provenance standard. So what is this exactly? C2PA stands for the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. Basically, it's a system for attaching cryptographically signed provenance information directly to a digital asset. Think of it as a highly secure cryptographic envelope, often presented to you and me as content credentials. This envelope securely holds the entire history of a file, how it was created, what software modified it, and it even includes cryptographic signatures to prove it hasn't been tampered with. It's incredibly robust. Now, how is this envelope physically stored inside your file? Through something called JUMBF. That stands for JPEG Universal Metadata Box Format. JUMBF is the specific structured digital lockbox holding the C2PA manifest. And this right here, this is exactly why a standard Exif remover won't spot it. If your tool doesn't know how to look for a JUMB box, it simply won't see the C2PA data at all. It'll just leave it entirely intact while cheerfully telling you your file is 100% clean. Let's hit section 3, C2PA versus traditional metadata, the showdown. We really need to separate this modern provenance standard from the old formats we've been using for decades. Look, Exif is all about capture info, the GPS, the camera lens, the date. It's just technical data. IPTC is about editorial rights, the creator, the copyright. But C2PA, its main purpose is signed provenance. It contains cryptographic claims, assertions, and signatures. Honestly, one of the biggest mistakes you can make right now is treating every metadata technology as interchangeable. C2PA is an entirely different beast. It's designed to verify content origin and history, not just tell you what aperture your lens was set to. Which brings us to section 4, the hard truth. What actually survives removal? We need to be completely honest about what doesn't get erased, because even if you use a sophisticated tool that successfully strips out the embedded C2PA manifest, there are still survivors. The C2PA specification intentionally supports things called soft bindings. These are durable signals like invisible watermarks that are embedded into the actual media content, the pixels themselves. There are also computed content fingerprints, manifests stored remotely on servers, and completely separate XMP or IPTC fields. Removing a metadata container simply does not automatically remove a watermark that is baked directly into the image.
And here is a crucial point. We're busting a massive myth right now. Missing C2PA does not mean a file is human-made. Look, C2PA is a provenance standard, okay? It is not a universal AI detector. A file can be entirely AI-generated and just not have a C2PA manifest attached to it. Conversely, a genuine 100% unedited camera photograph can have full content credentials. So, its absence proves absolutely nothing about whether an image is authentic or AI-generated. All right, Section 5, the Exif injector solution, taking back control.
I want to introduce you to exifinjector.com. This is the premier tool where everyone can regain control over those hidden layers of their files. It's a central hub specifically designed to understand the modern realities of both traditional metadata and modern C2PA cryptography. When you're dealing with all these distinct layers of file data, you need a tool built to recognize and interact with all of them, and Exif Injector does exactly that. With Exif Injector, you have the power to view your existing file metadata so you actually know what's in there before you act. You can delete and remove XF, GPS, IPTC, and XMP for traditional privacy cleanup. You can inject entirely new metadata if you need to correct or add information. And, crucially, it has the capability to manage and remove that hidden C2PA and JUMB data. It's just a fantastic, comprehensive suite that lets anyone view, delete, remove, and inject metadata completely seamlessly.
Section 6, the safe metadata workflow. Let's go step by step.
Gone are the days when you could just hit delete metadata and blindly hope for the best. The modern, safe workflow has 4 foundational steps: inspect, understand, act, and verify. If you skip any of these, you are really just leaving your digital privacy up to chance.
Let's break those down. Steps 1 and 2 are inspect and understand. You should always start by using the Exif Injector metadata viewer on your original file. Why? Well, because a file without C2PA doesn't need a C2PA remover. You have to identify whether you are dealing with just plain old Exif data or if there's a hidden JUMBF box lurking in there. Inspecting the file first is absolutely crucial so you know exactly what layers you are targeting.
Then comes steps 3 and 4, act and verify. Once you know what's there, you act by using Exif Injector to carefully process a copy of your file. Seriously, never overwrite your original. Remove the GPS, strip the C2PA, or inject your copyright info, whatever you need. But you're not done yet. The most essential habit is step 4, verify. Open that newly processed file and inspect it again to confirm that the specific layers you targeted are actually gone. And here's a surprising technical pro tip that proves exactly why this selective management matters so much. If you use a sledgehammer approach and blindly delete every single non-pixel data block, you might accidentally strip out the ICC color profile. The ICC profile tells displays how to actually render your image's colors. If you wipe it out, your perfectly edited photo might look completely washed out and awful on someone else's screen. So congratulations, you secured your privacy, but you totally ruined your art. And honestly, this isn't just about personal privacy anymore. We are entering the realm of major global regulation. As of August 2nd, 2026, transparency obligations under Article 50 of the EU AI Act officially apply to providers of generative AI systems. This means that managing metadata, understanding C2PA, and dealing with machine-readable AI marks is no longer just some niche technical issue for geeks, it is a major legal and ethical frontier. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Are you truly in control of your file's invisible footprint? Now that you know the difference between just the frosting and all those hidden layers beneath it, you really can't unsee it. Don't lay your privacy up to some outdated Exif scrubber. I highly encourage you to head over to exifinjector.com, inspect some of your own files, and take back control of your digital identity. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.